The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council was silent. It was never silent. Usually, hundreds of voices filled the vast circular hall. Different species spoke in clicks, hums, light pulses, and telepathic waves. The air always vibrated with debate. But today, no one argued. All eyes were fixed on the massive viewing screen in the center of the chamber. Outside the station, floating in a field of glowing energy, was the most feared creature in the known galaxy, the Velkrith Apex. Some called it the Void Reaper. Others called it World Breaker. It had destroyed fleets. It had torn apart battlecruisers like they were paper. One entire civilization, the Jorathi Swarm, had disappeared after encountering it near their border systems. No one knew where it came from. No one knew its species' origin. They only knew one thing. It could not be stopped. The creature was enormous. Its body was longer than a warship. Black armored plates covered it from head to tail. Its many eyes were closed, but even in sleep, they glowed faintly red. Long, curved claws rested against its body, sharp enough to cut through reinforced alloy. Around it shimmered a powerful quantum stasis field, the only thing keeping it frozen in place. It had taken 7 years and the loss of 12 fleets to trap it. The cost had been terrible. Now it floated there, unmoving, waiting. It must never be released, said High Speaker Tavar of the Kethari species. His tall, feathered form trembled slightly. This creature is extinction. Murmurs of agreement spread through the chamber. The Mare Dominion attacked it with full military force, said another delegate. The Velkrith destroyed their entire armada in less than 1 standard hour. It does not communicate, added a Crystalline Ool representative. It does not retreat, it only kills. Near the edge of the chamber sat the newest member of the council.
Ambassador Elias Ward of Earth.
A human. Many species still did not fully understand humans.
They were relatively new to galactic politics. Their technology was advancing quickly, and their biology made several elder species uncomfortable.
Humans were omnivores, predators.
They came from a dangerous world filled with storms, deep oceans, wild animals, and constant change. Yet somehow, they thrived there. Elias leaned forward slightly, studying the image of the Velkrith. He did not look afraid.
He looked curious. Have we tried talking to it? He asked calmly.
The chamber reacted immediately. Talking? One delegate repeated in disbelief. It does not respond to signals, said the Ool. We broadcast every known communication method. Broadcasting isn't the same as talking. Several representatives stared at him. High Speaker Tavar narrowed his eyes. Explain. Elias folded his hands. Every species that encountered it opened fire first, correct? There was a pause. That is standard survival protocol, Tavar replied.
And what if, Elias continued carefully, it reacted to being attacked?
The idea sounded simple. Too simple. This being tore apart a battle moon. Someone snapped. You suggest it felt threatened? Elias looked back at the screen. The creature's massive body drifted peacefully in the glowing field. I'm suggesting, he said quietly, that we don't actually know. At that exact moment, something changed. One of the Velkrith's eyes opened. Just slightly. Red light flickered across the chamber as warning alarms softly activated. It senses observation, a technician announced. The eye moved. Slowly.
It turned toward the station, toward the council chamber.
Toward Elias. The human did not move. The glowing red eye focused directly on him through layers of reinforced glass and energy shielding. For a long moment, no one breathed. Then the eye narrowed, not in rage, not in aggression, but in focus. Elias felt a strange chill run down his spine. It's aware, he whispered. Outside, the massive claws twitched inside the stasis field. Energy levels fluctuated. The containment grid shimmered. Several delegates began calling for increased power to the field, but Elias kept staring at the creature. And for the first time since its capture, the Velkrith did not look like a mindless monster. It looked like something thinking. The chamber lights flickered as the predator's eye remained locked on the human ambassador. Watching.
Studying.
waiting.
The red eye of the Velkrith apex stayed open. It did not blink. It did not move away. It only watched. Inside the grand chamber, fear spread quickly. Energy readings from the stasis field began to rise. The glowing barrier around the creature flickered like a weak flame in the wind. "Increase power to the containment field," shouted a station commander. Technicians rushed to their panels. Extra energy flowed into the field. The glowing prison around the predator became brighter and more stable. But the creature's eye never left the human. Ambassador Elias Ward stood still, his hands resting calmly at his sides. His heart was beating fast, but he did not show fear. High Speaker Tavar turned toward him. "This is your fault, human. It reacts to you." Elias shook his head slightly.
No, it reacts because it's awake.
The chamber trembled as the Velkrith slowly opened another eye, then another. Soon, 6 glowing red eyes stared toward the station. Some delegates began backing away from the viewing screen. "It is preparing to attack," one whispered. But Elias noticed something different. The creature was not thrashing. It was not trying to break free. It was only watching, like a hunter observing something new. "Lower the observation lights," Elias said suddenly. Several heads turned toward him in disbelief. "Have you lost your senses?" demanded the UL representative.
Please, Elias insisted. Bright light can be seen as a threat display in many predator species.
There was hesitation. Then, slowly, the chamber lights dimmed. Outside, the Velkrith's eyes adjusted. The red glow softened slightly. The energy readings dropped a little. A quiet wave of surprise moved through the chamber. Elias took a slow breath. "It responds to environment changes," he said softly. "That means it's thinking." Tavar stepped closer. "Thinking predators are more dangerous."
Not always, Elias replied. He remembered something from Earth's history.
Wolves had once hunted humans. Big cats had attacked early settlements. Sharks ruled the oceans. Yet humans had learned something important.
Understanding reduced fear, and fear often caused violence.
Elias looked back at the screen. The Velkrith shifted slightly inside the stasis field. Its massive claws flexed, but not in attack, more like stretching after a long sleep.
It doesn't look angry, Elias said quietly. A technician interrupted.
Neural activity rising, but patterns do not match previous combat behavior. The chamber grew still again. "If it is not preparing to fight," said the Threx Collective slowly, "then what is it preparing to do?" Elias swallowed. "I think," he said carefully, "it's trying to understand us." This creature had destroyed fleets. But what if every fleet had attacked first? What if every encounter began with weapons and explosions? Elias turned toward the council. "I request permission to enter the containment platform." The entire chamber erupted. "Denied. Unacceptable. That is suicide." High Speaker Tivar's feathers flared in alarm. "You will not approach that thing." Elias stayed calm. "You've tried weapons," he said.
You've tried traps.
"You've tried energy nets. None of it worked long term." He pointed towards the screen. "But no one has tried peace." Silence fell again. The Velkrith slowly moved its head. Its giant body shifted closer to the inner edge of the stasis field, as if trying to see better. Its eyes narrowed slightly. "Focused. On Elias. It recognizes you," whispered one delegate. Elias felt it too. A strange connection.
Not words, not thoughts.
Just awareness. He took one slow step toward the exit of the chamber. Security guards immediately blocked his path. "Ambassador," one said firmly, "we cannot allow this." Elias looked back at the screen one last time. The Velkrith lowered its massive head slightly, not in attack, but in something almost like curiosity. "If I'm wrong," Elias said quietly, "you lose one human." He paused. "If I'm right, you gain something far more powerful than a weapon." The chamber lights flickered again as energy readings shifted. The predator's eyes glowed brighter, waiting. The decision now rested with the council. And outside the station, the galaxy's deadliest creature remained perfectly still, watching the only being who had not looked at it with fear. The containment platform glowed softly, its shimmering barrier holding back the galaxy's most dangerous predator. Ambassador Elias Ward stepped onto the platform, alone. Every delegate in the Grand Chamber watched in stunned silence. Some held their breath. Some covered their eyes. Many were shaking. The Velkrith apex remained still. Its massive body stretched across the stasis field. Red Eyes watched the human closely, flickering with faint intelligence. Elias approached slowly, each step deliberate. His boots clicked against the metal floor. The Velkrith flexed its claws, but not aggressively. The air vibrated faintly from its presence, a low hum that made the chamber's walls tremble. "Remember," one technician whispered into the comm, "this thing ate a fleet. It can crush this entire station with one swipe." He felt fear, but he did not show it. Fear was easy. Courage was harder. Understanding was harder still. He stopped a few meters from the creature, its eyes focused on him, not on anyone else.
He noticed something strange. It seemed curious, not just aware.
Curious. Elias slowly removed his gloves.
The chamber gasped. "You cannot be serious," Tavar hissed. "You will die." Elias ignored him. He extended his bare hand toward the Velkrith. The creature's massive head lowered slightly. Its jaws opened, revealing rows of sharp teeth. The floor seemed to tremble from the sheer size of its body. Every delegate tensed, waiting for the first drop of blood. And then, nothing happened. The Velkrith froze mid-breath. Its many eyes followed the human's hand. It tilted its head slightly, a gesture almost, thoughtful. Elias placed his hand gently against the thick, black chitin under one of its massive eyes. The predator stiffened. Its claws twitched, but not in attack. Its breathing slowed. "Easy," Elias whispered. "I'm not here to hurt you." A low vibration echoed through the stasis field. It was not a roar, not a warning. Something else entirely, like a rumble of curiosity, almost like a purr. The council technicians stared at the readings. Neural activity spiked, but the patterns were unlike anything recorded before. No aggression, no hunger, just awareness. The Velkrith's head lowered more. It shifted slightly closer, resting its massive jaw on the energy barrier near Elias's hand. "Do you see that?" Elias said softly to the chamber. "It's not attacking. It's calm." One of the Ul delegates whispered, It is enjoying it?" Elias smiled faintly. "It is not a machine of war. It is a creature, like all living things, and it responds to gentleness." Slowly, he ran his hand along the armored ridge beneath its eyes. The massive predator leaned into the touch, testing the contact. The vibrations grew steady, rhythmic, almost comforting. Several delegates fainted from shock. Others could not believe what they were witnessing. The creature that had ended fleets and civilizations was allowing a human to touch it. Elias whispered, "You're not alone anymore. You don't have to be scared." For a moment, it was just the human and the predator. No council. No alarms. No weapons. Just two beings trying to understand each other. The Velkrith shifted again, pressing gently against the stasis field. It lowered its claws, relaxed its jaw, and slowly moved its massive body closer to Elias, as if seeking more contact. Outside the platform, the council murmured in disbelief. "This changes everything," one delegate said. "If a human can do this, what does it say about us?" "About humanity." Elias stepped back slightly, but kept his hand near the creature. The Velkrith tilted its head, staring at him with deep, red eyes that were no longer threatening. For the first time in recorded history, the galaxy's deadliest predator looked peaceful. Elias straightened. "You see," he said softly, "fear makes monsters. Understanding makes friends." The stasis field hummed steadily. Energy readings remained stable. And in that moment, every species in the chamber realized one undeniable truth. Humans had just done what no one else could. They had touched the impossible, and the galaxy would never be the same. The chamber was silent. For several long minutes, not a single delegate spoke. Every eye, every sensor, every neural link was focused on the Velkrith apex. Its massive body rested inside the containment field, calm. Its glowing red eyes followed Ambassador Elias Ward as he stepped back from the barrier. Duh! No one could believe what had just happened. This is impossible, whispered one of the UL representatives. It allowed contact. Elias ignored the whispers. He studied the creature, noting every small movement. It wasn't just calm. It seemed aware, responsive, curious, even gentle. High Speaker Tavar, feathers bristling in anger and disbelief, slammed a claw against the podium. This is reckless. A human touched a monster that destroyed fleets. Do you realize what you risked? Elias nodded calmly. Yes, and we learned something important. This is not a mindless killing machine. It responds to trust. It understands behavior. The Threx Collective's gelatinous forms pulsed rapidly. You suggest it could be controlled? Elias shook his head. Not controlled. Trusted. It's not a weapon. It's a living being. And every fleet that tried to destroy it failed because they attacked first. The chamber murmured. Many species were visibly shaken. Some delegates turned pale. Others whispered frantically into their translators. For decades, the galaxy had feared the Velkrith as the ultimate predator. And now, one species, a human species barely 200 years into interstellar travel, had done what no one else could. Outside the stasis field, the Velkrith shifted again. Its head lowered closer to where Elias had stood. Its claws flexed slowly. The creature's massive chest vibrated with deep, low sounds, a resonance that no one in the chamber had ever heard before. This is astonishing, said a mere delegate quietly. It accepts him. Elias studied the creature carefully.
It is lonely, he said. It has been attacked every time it met another species.
Every fleet, every colony, every signal, it has only known fear and aggression. And now it has seen gentleness. High Speaker Tavar's feathers trembled. Do you understand what you've done, human? You have altered the perception of the most feared predator in the galaxy.
Elias looked around the chamber. Yes.
And we've learned something else. Humanity has a strength no weapon can match. Understanding, curiosity, courage without arrogance, and the willingness to face the unknown without attacking first. The Velkrith's eyes brightened slightly. It extended a massive claw and tapped gently against the energy barrier. The sound reverberated through the chamber. Several delegates gasped. It recognizes humanity, someone whispered. Elias smiled faintly. It doesn't just recognize us. It respects us. And it will not attack us, not as long as we do not attack it. The chamber buzzed with disbelief, awe, and fear. This creature, which had been called the ultimate predator, the galaxy's deadliest weapon, was no longer a threat, at least not to the species that had reached out with understanding instead of guns. This is why humanity will thrive in the galaxy, he said. We do not rely solely on technology, or power, or fear. We rely on patience, on empathy, on learning and adapting. And if we can do this with the Velkrith, imagine what else we can face. Outside, the massive predator shifted again, pressing its head gently against the containment field, as if acknowledging the human. Its glowing eyes scanned the chamber one last time. The message was clear. The Velkrith apex had judged humanity, and humanity had passed. Across the galaxy, fleets, colonies, and species would hear this story. The species that had tamed, or at least befriended, the deadliest predator known would be regarded with a new kind of respect. Fear no longer ruled the council chambers. Curiosity, courage, and understanding had won the day. Elias turned to the council. We have learned that fear alone never solves conflict. Strength alone never earns trust. But understanding can make even the deadliest creature an ally. The delegates stared. Slowly, one by one, they nodded. Not all fully trusted it yet, but everyone understood something fundamental. Humanity had just rewritten what it meant to survive in the galaxy. Outside, the Velkrith shifted again. Its massive form calm, its glowing red eyes fixed on the human ambassador who had faced the impossible. And succeeded. The galaxy's deadliest predator had met its match, and that match was human.